Hello, trading is closed on March 13th, 2025. As always, we'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make our predictions. This is my trading plan for Friday. Friday is the 14th of March, 2025. As always, I can change my plan. My plan can be wrong, so trade at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early high, which is this tomorrow should have the early low. We had a VIX Bollinger Band reversal buy signal, which the market ignored, as it's ignored buy signals all the way during this decline. We thought this was a positive pattern. We said that if we gap down smartly, it would be killed, and we gapped down smartly, so the call was killed before the open. And just for good measure, we undercut this low, and did it reasonably promptly, so that we said that would kill it too. Some people have asked me, how do you define gapping sharply? What does sharply mean in the undesired direction? And the answer I give is, if you have to ask the question, don't take the trade. It was obvious before the open. Futures were down. We opened down 5 within 5 minutes. We're down 15. That's sharp enough for me. If it's not going according to plan, just don't take the trade. As I've said many times, I make plenty of calls that get canceled, plenty of moves I miss. I just don't take many trades which lose money. This is a reminder of what we said, but again, the call was canceled before the open because we gapped down smartly. Well, during the day, this big decline happened. MEJT said this drop wouldn't stick. Had a big rally. MEJT said that wouldn't stick, and it's already retraced. So that's played out. This is the combo in green and sequential in blue sell signals from time to market in the weekly chart, which call the top. I've said many times, when you're this far under the lower Bollinger Band on the weekly chart, you're not going to stay there long. Doesn't mean you won't crash. Anything's possible. But it's just a risky place to initiate new short trades without a reasonable stop. Well, here are the DeMark combo and sequential counts on the daily chart. We have bar 9 on the combo. Bar 13 gives the buy signal. Last 3 bars don't have to obey all the rules, so it's at least theoretically possible for the low of the move to be on bar 10. So we could be close in terms of time, again, to getting a signal from him. It would make a much prettier picture if we didn't print it now, and the pattern doesn't have to go to completion. If we didn't print it, but instead rallied first and then dropped, giving us time to get bar 13 of sequential in alignment with bar 13 of combo. But that would take some time, and there's no requirement for it to happen. We have a long-term count with an A, B, C, and C right here at 4103.78. I don't see any chance we're going to undercut that. That took a generation to form. The question is, how do you count this move up? We had this as 1 and 2, and then originally we had this as 3 and 4 because 3 and 1 had a Fibonacci relationship. I did say that was not the only valid count, but I was preferring 1 and 2 of wave 3. Because that just didn't look like much of a third wave to me. But what if the original count was correct? Let's take a look. We had a number of places where this drop could end. We've gone through 55.40, and the next logical place is 53.87.53. If this is a wave 1 in blue, instead of wave 3. If it is wave 1 in blue, we shouldn't go under its origin, which is 5193.65. That's a wave in the sand. But I'm now thinking the original count was probably right. We'll see why. And so if that's wave magenta 3 and we're making magenta 4, we shouldn't go under the origin, the high of wave 1. So we shouldn't go under 52.64.81 if that's the right count. Let's see what happens if we go back to the original count. Well, we now think 53.87.53 is the next logical place for this to stop. If that's magenta 1, magenta 3 has a good fib relationship. Here's magenta 2. You measure from the high to the low. If you then measure from the origin to our target for the end of wave 4, you'll see 4 is exactly equal to 2 at the same number, 53.87.53, and the ABC for wave 4 also has good fibs. So we now think there's very good, it's a very good target at 53.87.53 cash, and we think that there's a reasonable chance it prints before the end of next week. The catch is, if you hit that, and that's the 4th wave, we should then have a 5th wave, which could be pretty good, but could truncate, and that would complete the first wave up from the October 23 low. For the short term, that's pretty good. For the long term, it doesn't tell you how much of a retrace in wave 2 you could have. I don't think we're going to collapse, but wave 2 could go almost to the origin of wave 1, back near that 4100 level, without changing the long-term bullish count. That's not my call by a long shot. I think we're going to close the year higher. But if that's the right idea, and it's looking like the right idea to me, wave 2 can correct quite a bit and even lower than the start of this wave here, because it would be completing wave 1 up, and wave 2 can correct a healthy percentage of wave 1 up. Well, Friday's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. We gapped down, hit a lower low, but closed over the midday low. This close is over this. So if that's maintained at the open, it should lead to higher prices regardless of where we close. And futures are up 20 last time I looked. Now gapping and promptly undercutting today's low invalidates that, and nothing prevents that from happening. Assets in RIDEX bear funds took a huge jump this week, and in its bull funds are at its lowest level in over a year. Sentiment continues to say we're near a low in terms of time. Norm Winsky's Astro work as a possible bottom this week. He explained it in his video I posted earlier today. We're within a few days of a DeMark combo buy signal on the daily chart. Pattern doesn't have to go to completion. I'd be happier if it didn't, as I said. There's strong Fibonacci support at 53.87.53 cash. That's a good target price for me. It's a logical place for this leg down to end. The catch is if we do bottom there, would imply we're completing wave 4 of wave 1 from the October 2023 low. After a wave 5 rally, which could even truncate, we could retrace even more of wave 1 without changing the long-term bullish picture. So it's the pattern tomorrow with the early low. We are awfully close to this target from September of last year, 54.98.56. Nothing requires it to print just because we came close, but it would be kind of a shame if it didn't print after making all this effort to get in its area. But if we don't gap down, take this out, we should at least trade higher. I don't have any count which says that the decline's over. That doesn't mean it has to drop every single day. It is a bullish pattern if it's maintained, even though it's fairly low. But as I say, nothing requires it to be maintained. and we have a low according to Norm Winsky coming up over the weekend. So regardless of what happens, I think we're pretty close in terms of time, and if we see my price around 53.87, I'm going to go long in all likelihood. And that's today's call.